Hey guys, Joe here with hotshot.com. So today I'm actually going to talk about something that I think has created a little bit of confusion for folks that haven't been in this industry before or they're looking at getting into this industry, and kind of explain how one side of this market works. Kind of confusing because there is two separate sides of car hauling. I actually plan on doing a video on car hauling, or on those two different sides and how they work. But this is a very general explanation on how the whole car hauling industry typically tends to work. So with that, I start here. So you have a customer up here at the top, right? Your customer says, hey, either the military's transferring me from point A to point B, or my job's transferring me from point A to B, or I'm a dealer and I want to move a bunch of cars from point A to point B because I bought them in an auction 3 states over, so on and so forth. So that customer gets online, and what they think that they're doing is posting a listing or trying to get a bid or a quote for transportation through an actual transportation company. These websites, they have pictures of trucks and car haulers and so on and so forth, say we'll get you from point A to point B. What they're actually doing is, this is a marketing company. They're generating a lead. That lead gets turned around and usually gets sold the next day to a broker. Broker goes in, broker pays or whatever they ask for these leads, whether it's like a subscription service or they're paying for each individual lead. There's a ton of different ways that it works with these marketing companies and how they do this. But marketing company generates a lead. The lead is then sold to brokers all over the world, and all over the country. That broker then takes it and lists it on a job board or assigns it to a transportation company. Usually these brokers will just turn around and assign it to or load it onto a load board. And now, and what ends up happening is your transportation company goes, okay, I need to book 5 cars from Atlanta to Houston. And this load ends up being, going from that Atlanta area to Houston. So your transportation company goes, okay, I'm approved to work with this broker. I filled out all their packets. I'm approved with them, so on and so forth. So they call up the broker, and the broker then either says, hey, look, I can assign this load to you, or I can't. And the transportation company takes the load. The transportation company then passes it down to the driver. Now, moving my way back up, kind of talk about how, a little bit further into explanation. Sometimes, for you guys out there, just single trucks, that transportation company and that driver are the same exact thing. If you work for a larger company, that driver is a separate entity from that transport company, and that's often called an owner-operator. If these two here are the same thing, then you can be an independent operator. Independent operators and owner-operators both own their own company. An owner-operator is assigned to a transport company, and an independent operator is a driver and the transport company. They're an all-in-one, generally, a smaller trucking company. I think primarily the majority of them are one-truck companies. Okay, so that's the deal here. Now, generally, when you go to pick up a car from a customer, if it's a dealer, dealers, they deal with this every single day. If it's someone that's moving, like military transfer or a job transfer or something like that, there's a good chance that they probably haven't ever been through this process before. And to be honest, making it from here all the way down to here can be an experience. I've had customers cry. I've had customers complain. They're generally relieved when they get down to the transport company, the driver, to the company that's going to actually take care of them, because that's the company that's calling them every day to make sure, or to give them updates on when their vehicle is going to get picked up. That's the company that's giving them updates every single day on where their vehicle is, and that's the company that's giving them updates on when their vehicle is going to be delivered. All of these other people, minus the broker, depending on how good your broker is, they're out of it. They're not even involved after this whole process starts. Generally, the broker, if you have a good broker, will get involved. I can tell you there are some brokers out there that just don't care. They'll give the load to anybody. They don't have any criteria. It's just keep moving, keep moving, keep moving. There are some brokers out there that have a very established clientele, and they do pay very well, but they are wanting established car haulers, guys out there with a bunch of reviews from a bunch of other brokers, people that are running with the best insurance. They've got good equipment. They've got an established record of being places on time and just taking care of the customer. So this is a good breakdown on how this all works, and I hope I kind of got you the information on this hierarchy, because I think that a lot of people believe that the best way to do this is just go out and find brokers, and that is a way to get starved out of this business really fast. If I'm only working for one or two brokers, I am missing out on the other 300 or 400 brokers that are going to have loads going from point A to point B. Sometimes these brokers will turn around and they'll get on these drivers, and let's say this driver just doesn't know any better, and he brings on a driver, and they're sitting empty in Salt Lake City. These brokers will they'll dispatch out, so they'll go onto a load board, and they'll pull information, and they'll say, okay, I see that this other broker has a load going for X amount of dollars. They scab 10% off the load for a dispatching fee and then shoot that out to you. And then both brokers end up getting paid their fee. But it's a whole hierarchy. So what you want to do is you want to get on the load board. Now, there is one other thing that I'd like to talk to you about, something that can kind of get you in hot water. Almost always, when this driver gets there to either pick up or deliver the load, there's going to be a conversation. For example, right? Your driver, or your customer realizes that they're paying $600 for the load, whatever. Just a general number. They're paying $600 to ship their car from point A to point B. Okay, depending on what your market is, because your brokers control your market. Your brokers control the pay in the market. Okay, that broker could be taking $300 for that load, and that customer doesn't like the fact that the transport company is only getting $300. It's not that they care if that transport company is getting $300 or not, but almost always are you going to get a customer that turns around and goes, "Hey, let's work something out. Why don't we meet each other in the middle? I'm going to be shipping my car back in 6 months because this is only a temporary job. You charge me $600 to go out. Well, why don't we meet each other in the middle, and on the next run, I just skip all these people, go down to you, and you do it for $450. That can put you in a lot of hot water. Something I want you to think about. Read the paperwork. When you're working with a broker, they're almost always going to have you sign a contract. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. If I have a broker that doesn't have me sign a contract and I'm not doing any paperwork with him, I might actually be concerned, because there's nothing covering me or him, and it kind of seems to me like it's going to be a little bit of a fly-by-night operation. A lot of these brokers are putting addendums in their contracts that state that if you go around them and you skip this entire policy, either you can't do it or you've got to pay them a percentage. The latter is usually the most typical that you'll see. They'll charge you like a 15 or a 20% fee on the total amount, which means that $450, then you have to subtract 10, 15, 20% off that $450 amount and cut them a check, okay? There are people who don't do it because they think, well, how is the broker ever going to find out if I go directly with the customer? If they do, they're probably going to take you to court and sue you. Play that game at your own risk. I wanted to put that information out to you so that you know, because here's the thing, your customer gets caught up in this whole thing with 5 different companies, And 6 months down the road, if that customer's looking for a receipt, or maybe they had an issue with the transport, okay, and let's say you work something out on the return load with them, like a year later, because they moved back 6 months later, it's 6 months after the transport company, do you think they're going to call you, or do you think they're going to call the broker? And when they contact the broker and the broker doesn't have a history of the load, the broker is going to know that you took the load and didn't cut them in on a piece of that. They might just call you up and tell you they want the 15%, or they might end up, saying, hey, look, you breached our contract. I'm going to take you to court. I'm going to do this whole entire thing. Look, I always err on the side of caution. I don't like to play those games. I don't like to do all that stuff. If you don't like something that's in the contract, don't sign it. You can always make your own changes to the contract, or say, hey, look, I don't agree to these terms when you lease onto a broker, but these are all the options that you have. So this is generally how it works. I know that there's a lot more that goes into this, but if there's anything you specifically like to know, leave a comment in the box below, and I can do another video or try and get you any other information. But this is the general breakdown of how the whole system works. So don't get caught up in just trying to get a broker. What you need to do is get an established company out there, whether it be a limited liability corporation or S corp, and you need to get into the system, get your motor carrier numbers, your DOT numbers, get into the FMCSA. You need to get all that rolling so that you're an established trucking company, and that you can get access to these load boards, so that you can see more than what just one broker is offering, what multiple brokers are offering. So I'm Joe here with howtohotshot.com. Thanks for watching my video. See you on the next one.